92 am Start. Track record start.
Welcome back to a misty, foggy, trying to snow, not really having much of a good go at it. Innsbruck in Austria. It is the third race weekend of the BMW, IBSF, Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup. And it's a double race weekend as we catch up with the women's Monobob who did not race in Beijing. Their season started a week ago in France, and this is the first of two races this weekend in Austria. Martin Haven and Mika Moore watching the action. And Mika, tightly packed top three after the first heat.
Yeah, I think it's what we were expecting, wasn't it? The girls that are the better starters at this track, they are tightly packed for those top three places. Brianna Walker put down an excellent first run. Laura Nolter as well, we'll see her future. I'm sure she'll put down an excellent second heat, and then obviously these Puckwitz at the top of the field.
Yeah, Brianna Walker lies in third place. She was the silver medalist last year. Ahead of her in second, Laura Nolter finished tied for fifth in this race last year, which was actually the last race of the season in February. And they are just 100th apart, but with half a step on the field is our first heat leader, Lisa Buchwitz. Well, Lisa won on this track in February. It is so far her only Monobob World Cup win. Looks like she might double up. A little bit of Christmas decoration there in the tunnel, and nice too. So that's the gap. 1500s back to Laura Nolter, and Brianna Walker just 100th behind her. Then a little step back. Keisha Love in fourth, last week's winner, ahead of Mel Hasler, who is currently in fifth place. And of our newcomers, Adele Nicol in 14th place, Julia Slupecker in 19th, and returning to racing after having a mini stroke before last season, Katie Bile, effectively a World Cup newcomer as well. Well, no Kim Kalicki in the second heat. She had a little injury in La Plan last week, and clearly that is getting no better. So unfortunately, she's been forced to pull out of this one. Whether she'll race in tomorrow morning's third round of the Monobob World Cup, I don't know. Whether she'll run in the two-man, I don't know. But the man on the right there, Gert Leopold. Leo, he is the physical conditioning trainer for the German team, so he will try and make sure that she's as healthy as possible. And if that means sitting out the rest of the weekend and have a couple of weeks off over Christmas to rest and recuperate, then that might be the case. No time off for new mums. And Alana Meyer-Taylor's very much in that category with her two boys here. So she is very busy. She's not the only new mum here either. Saw Christina Hengster a little earlier on with her two kids, Max and Lily. So she's down here, former Austrian slider. And we've got a little bit of news as well, I believe, that we were talking... Right, let's get ready for our second and deciding heat, race 2 of the Women's Monobob World Cup. We're in Innsbruck in Austria, and somewhere up there is our first sled. Here she is, Julia Slupecker of Poland, making her World Cup debut this weekend in Women's Monobob. Great to see her, 24 years of age. Martin Haven and British slider Mika Moore watching the action with you. And Mika, for a driver, having to do all the work yourself, for you, having come from the back seat anyway, that's familiar. Oh, she didn't get in, clattered the wall on the way down into turn 1.
Yeah, I was really hoping that she was going to sort of have a better run on this heat too. I thought, you know, that first heat nerves would be gone. We saw her cut off some of the corners, tapping some of the walls, but obviously that entry into the sled there, she looked like she was going for a slower entry into the sled, so it would be cleaner, but I just think it took a little bit too long.
Tap there into the Kreisel, 270-degree corkscrew turn, rattles the wall on the exit as well, bringing you down a little too early. And again, just hanging it up late out of corner 9 into 10, down into the lower labyrinth. Speeds here, 65 miles an hour and growing fast. These corners really whip at you at the bottom of the track, don't they?
Yeah, 11, 12, 13, you don't even have time to think. It's very much a rhythmical way of driving down there, so you're in high off the corners.
Well, this is her 24th career Monobob race. Raced in the World Series and Europe Cup before now, but that is her World Cup debut completed. Doesn't get in quickly enough, doesn't have her hands on the steering as she comes out of the grooves that are cut to guide the sled before the driver gets in and just skids into the wall. Oof. Yeah.
And it is such a shame because, like we said, the top of this track, you've got to be so clean to build that speed.
All right, well, she's got those first race nerves out of the way, and undoubtedly she'll have a second run tomorrow. Well, Victoria Jananska, the Slovak team is tiny. So, in fact, I was helping her sled dog, her sled at the bottom of the track yesterday. You can see there the Swiss helping out at the top as well. Now, she has a 0.14 of a second margin. She didn't get in cleanly either in the first run. Drops in, hands on the D-rings. There you go, nice and straight down into one.
Yeah, much better, and we can see that reflected. You know, start time, velocity will be improved on this run from that as well. I mean, she's put herself in all the right positions, Victoria. She went away to Milan and competed at the Push Championships out there, so she's putting herself in difficult positions to train for these occasions.
Started the first heat 6.62, that was a 6.30 start, so the rule of bobsleigh is 3/10 at the top, should be 9/10 at the bottom. So this should be a considerably better run. That's looking neat and tidy as well.
Yeah, so far this is a really nice run. Let's have a look what the labyrinth down the bottom looks like.
Because of the little bit of precipitation, the shades are out, we don't see much. Got all the tricks in the book. There's Julia Slupacker. She leaves the leader's box 56.17 compared to 58.04. So getting on for 2 seconds quicker. So that's all of that impact that took the speed out of the sled at the start. I mean, effectively, you know, she had about as much speed as this. She'd only pushed a couple of steps and dropped in. So a much quicker run.
She's got to be happy with that. I think we saw a little bit of relief when she popped her visor up at the end there.
That is 56.17, the 4th fastest run today. Okay, and so she was 18 out of 19 in the first heat. So she might be in the leader's box for a little while. Let's take a look and see what happens next. This is Italy's Giada Andreuti. Giada, in only her second World Cup race, she made her World Cup debut in Monobob. She has raced before for a couple of seasons in women's bobsleigh. Made her debut last weekend, although she raced in the Winter Games in Monobob and in last year's World Championships. Drops in nicely while she's still in the guidelines. 6.54, not the fastest starter. Gives away 2400ths there of what was a just under 3/10 advantage.
Yeah, and we see that as she slips into the red. She did make an improvement on her start from Heat 1. We're not typically going to see the fastest of starts from Giada, but what we can see is that she's an excellent driver. Ooh. Bit of a skid there going into Kreisel.
Yeah, 5 to 6 down to Kreisel. It can be very skiddy, and she managed to have a skid and clatter the wall. Second best speed so far. And again, squirrely out of 9 on the run down to 10. Whipping through the final corners, diving for the line. You want to try and shorten that corner as much as you can. 57.07. Well, that's 7/10 quicker than her first heat. It's a big, big improvement. And if she could have ironed out any of those errors that we saw, and a few more that she probably felt, then she would have been down in the 56s.
But like we said, what's nice for these girls this weekend is it is a double race, so they've got another opportunity tomorrow.
Well, this will be like World Championships or Olympic racing, 4 heats over 2 days, with one night to try and sleep and forget about day one, or build on it if it went well.
We say try and sleep, but then there's all that sled work to do when you get back, and mobility and everything.
Yep. And pizza to eat as well. Next up, that's a slider's joke. Everybody has a has catering normally wherever they're staying, and then they all turn up at the Venezia Pizza House in Eagles and have a takeaway after that. Next up, Wai Mingming of China. The 28-year-old was 6th in the Monobob in the Winter Games in Beijing 2022. And that may yet rate as one of her best ever days of her life. A top 6 finish in your home Olympics. I mean, it's the stuff of dreams, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is definitely, I think. And what's nice is to see this team continuing on after the games and be progressing, I think, you know, over the next few years into the 2026 games. What are we going to get out of this team? I think it's going to be exciting to see.
Well, she started 6:10 compared to 6:27, so again, 1700s quicker. That should be getting on for over half a second at the bottom. Little skid there on the exit of the Kreisel. Had to work out of 9 to straighten it up before she got into corner 10. Gap's coming down. She was 9400ths ahead of Chananska, down to 6400. She should be ahead. She is by half a second, 56.30. And again, first heat 57.42. So that's 8800ths better. Stop, stop, stop.
I think, you know, half a second on Chananska there, but it shows how good of a run Chananska put in. That time was just creeping down and creeping down. On other tracks, would we have seen her catch her? I don't know.
Well, Victoria, if she hadn't had that start mishap, might well have been knocking on the door of the top 12 in the first heat. Never mind where she ended up. But again, here out of 9, little late, just trying to hold the nose up to avoid the wall on the inside. There's no respite from Yanis Minis. He's just given her a list of everything that was wrong. He is dead funny. So from Wales, making her debut this weekend, Adele Nicol for Team GB. Like my broadcast partner, Mika, a former brakewoman who has taken to driving. Sponsored by the New Saints. Where do New Saints play?
Oh gosh, now you're asking.
Yeah, I am asking. Well,
Maps.
come on, you're Welsh. You should know these things.
Wales isn't that small, Martin.
6:17. So what did she start in the first heat? 6:43. That's a massive improvement. And you know, I'm sure you can still remember your first day in a World Cup race, starting on the back of the sled, how nervous you were. Looks like she's managed to get rid of those. She only had 1500ths in hand over Wai Mingming, who's got a lot more experience. And Adele just a little skid there going into the Kreisel. Oh, a little rocky on the exit, but she got away without contact. Gap's still 700ths of a second. She's quicker, I think, than the Chinese sled. She'd really like to hold her place at least 600ths of a second. And she was trying to target Yingqing of China. Instead, 56.55. She falls back by 300ths. But the gaps were small. Yingqing was only, what was she, 700ths in front of Adele. So she may not hold on.
Yeah, we saw Coach Graham Richardson there on the camera. Obviously, coming onto the World Cup opens up coaching ability, doesn't it? So Adele started a career with Coach Sean Olsen, 2-time Olympian, but now coming onto the World Cup gets to work with the likes of Graham Richardson.
Still, there are upsides as well, right?
Oh, yes.
So if there's a bus coming along, Greybags is going under it. So Adele Nicol is second. Wai Mingming leads 5 down and 13 to go. So Yingqing of China then was in 14th place, but we've taken out Kim Kalicki. So she is our next slider. First heat push for her, 6:37. Now, the clouds are lifting a little. We can see a bit more, and that means that the track might be hardening off. Yeah, 6:10. I think we're going to see everybody is probably considerably quicker than they were in their first heat.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is maybe a bit of track work done in between the heats, clearing out of the grooves. We saw a bit of snow falling in the first heat, but I mean, this is much better for the girls, isn't it? You said in the training week that we started off with a bit of harder ice, so this is what they're seeing now.
Yeah, it was a bit colder, harder and faster. It's been a little bit mushy for the last day or two. They didn't train yesterday in the drizzly conditions. Top speed so far for Yingqing, so she will stay in the lead. In fact, she's building quite nicely. 2900s ahead of Wai Mingming when she sat down. That becomes 7200s. Actually looks as though the track might be speeding up. And again, that is the bigger part of half a second faster than she went in the first heat.
And then it's working on how you react to that, because when the first heat is so different to the second heat, you're prepared for your timings to be different.
Yeah, you have to learn very quickly, because if you don't quite respond in corner 1 and 2, you've already wiped off any speed. And as the ice changes, the feel that you get back when you put the steering effort in changes, and you've got to be really alive to that. And that's why experience is so critical. So Yingqing, that is the second fastest run of the competition so far. That's how much quicker the track now is. 2800s up from the Chinese slider is Linda Wyszewski. She was the very first on the ice, so had the least worst of the conditions. That's everybody clicking their visors down firmly. The clock at the top, it's a 60-second start. If you don't break the first timing beam there before 60 seconds is over, then you are disqualified. Sort of like the shot clock in basketball, or timing the move clock in chess, both of which are obviously very similar to driving a monobob. 3500s up at the start. Kind of held her advantage down to the Kreisel, but that's going to go away. Speed only third best. Victoria Chenanska actually has the top speeds through all the speed traps down the track at the moment.
It was looking like really nice run till exit Kreisel there. Just a little bit of a skid off of there, a skid up 9.
That's just when you thought, oh, this is looking good, isn't it? Yeah, so you don't even have to say it. This is the rule of commentary. Even if you think, oh, she's having a nice run, she's going over, that's the way that works. So, Linda Wyszewski, though, does... Yeah, I know, yeah. You don't even have to say it out loud sometimes. It's just, oh, this is looking... Oh, dear, never mind. Sometimes you don't even complete the thought. Here we go, out of the Kreisel. And again, she was sort of at 6s and 7s there. She had to... She realised, I think, maybe she was bringing it down too early and then just had to open the steering up a little, and that's where the big skid comes from. Out to 9. Just see her trying to drive it away from the wall, but takes the tap anyway.
Okay, thank you.
So, both of our Polish sliders are down, and it is Linda Wyszewski who leads as we get to Margot Bock of France. So Margot, 24-year-old from La Plagne, won on this track in the Monobob World Series. That was among Europe Cup sliders. Drops in nicely, 6:12 getaway.
Yeah, that was a really nice start from Margot there. Ran it far, but like, it's just dropped in so nicely to the side. She is one of our more petite sliders, so a little bit easier for her to do.
Yeah, helps with the load, doesn't help in any other direction. Means you're lighter, there's more sled to push and less of you to do it with, and all of that works out. So she's gone from 400s up to just 100th back. This is very doable for Margot. Good exit there, and that's going to really build her speed lower down the track.
Yeah, so like you said, that nice exit has continued the speed for her that we didn't see from Linda because she had the skid out of Kreisel.
Decent speed down at the bottom. Top has been 1:14 exactly. Let's see how close she is. Across the line with a 55.93, second fastest run of the competition. That is quicker than Lara Nolte managed in the first heat. She did a 55.98, so we're still seeing those big improvements. 3/4 of a second better than her first run. Some of that will be conditions, Mika. Some of that, though, will be driver.
And some of that will be because they're now awake, because it was very early earlier on.
Already whinging about the time. Goodness me. Modern sliders, I don't know. You've not been up at 5 o'clock in St Moritz where it's -20, schlepping down for an 8 a.m. start. Hey-ho. It is an early start. It will be an early start tomorrow. It'll be not quite such an early start. Now then, great to see Katie Bile back here. And we heard from Jennifer Onosanya. I said she was expecting a baby. She has had her baby, so she is working on getting fit for returning to ice. Meanwhile, Katie making her debut in the Monobob World Cup after missing last season driving in the World Cup series. So 6:05, 1200s quicker than her first start.
Yeah, very nice to see a nice start from Katie there. And her always novelty socks. Absolutely.
Gotta like a good sock game. Oh, just a little nudge there in 5. Coming down to the Kreisel. Third best speed, 94 Ks. Oh dear. Very un-Katie Bile exit off the Kreisel, and that's immediately from third best to sixth best speed. Taps the wall as she goes by the camions heading down the hill, dropping into the red by 1200s. Should be ahead of Linda Wyszewski, and the line is by 200ths of a second. So Margot Bock stays in the lead. We saw Wolfgang Stampfer, her coach. Wolfie, one of the most genial men on tour, but yeah. She'll be disappointed with that, but as you said, Mika, she's got the chance to come back tomorrow and put all that she's learned today into practice.
Yeah, she does. And like we said about Katie earlier, this track, she has slid so much in her lifetime. So even when things are going wrong and she's looking for that plan B, she'll know how to attack the mistakes.
Yeah, just isn't much ground in which to do it.
No.
So, yeah, taps and skids. Yeah, Morgen besser. It'll be better tomorrow. See, sometimes German is a much tighter and expressive language. Not very often, but sometimes. Okay, so Bianca Ribby now for Canada. And Bianca, 27 years of age, 9th in the World Championships in St Moritz in February. Missed the race here last year. So it's been a few seasons since she's... In fact, I'm not sure she slid here before. Because most of her racing was in North America. Let's see what she's got at the start. Ribeye with a 6:10 compared to 6:21, so we're still seeing those improvements.
Yeah, it's good to see the girls raising their game on heat too. I think something I've noticed about Bianca is the team behind the dream. Like, everyone always remembers Monobob as that single person bob, but forgets that we've got the brake woman still at top of the track helping out as well. And Neve, her brake woman, does a fantastic job of that. Actually sets up camp for her with a camp chair up there.
Narrow lead, 700s up at the start, 800s exiting the Kreisel. Little skid off 9. It's going to be very close, very, very close. Needs big speed in the lower labyrinth. And a dive for the line. Tuck your head down. Well, it would have been 500s if she had 56.04. So up 2 at the moment is Margot Bock.
And a big smile from Margot there as she stays in the winner's box.
Yeah, rightly so. Ah, there you go. That's the expression that says everything you need to know. Yeah, little tap on the wall on the run down to the Kreisel. Didn't put her offline too badly. And then the exit here, 9 to 10. A little double tap, and it puts her into a skid as well. Hey, hey. Bessa Morgan? Yeah, hopefully so. Okay, so here we go. Margot Bock leads from Bianca Ribby and Catty Bile. And we have 8 sleds to go. So as the cloud slinks its way back down the mountain towards us, Andrea Greco next up, bronze medalist last week in La Plan. And the Romanian, only in her 7th Monobob World Cup race, didn't do all of the rounds last year. Oh, and again does not get in. 5.92, driving single-handed when there are 2 ropes to pull. Not to be recommended, but somehow has best velocity of all.
Maybe she's found a little trick that we don't know about. I don't think so, but what a fantastic way of managing some chaos there at the top of the track.
Well, that is the 3rd fastest push of the competition so far. Only 2 sleds in the first heat went quicker. Leader Lisa Bukvitz and fastest starter Keisha Love. So there's some method to her madness. It doesn't look like it should work, but it has. And she is hanging on to her advantage. It has dropped a fraction from 4600s at the line, 4300s, 55.60. That is 2300s quicker than anybody has come down the mountain so far. And Paul Niago looking pretty happy with that. Well, she got a medal last week. She's 8 tenths away from the lead after the first heat. I don't think that's a medal-winning run, but that should move her up the order.
Yeah, let's have a look at this, how this works, this single-hand driving.
Yeah, the left hand again goes down to grab the D-rings, and she actually steered away from the wall.
That is brilliant.
Okay, if she does that again tomorrow, then it's a thing, rather than 2 of the same mistakes. Right. Okay, so a full second quicker on her run was Andrea Greco, and that really lays down the challenge to the next athlete, Alana Myers-Taylor. Alana had 0.03 of a second. If Alana improves by 1 second, it will be not enough. In fact, it will be enough by 100 because Andrea Greco improved by 1 second and 200ths. So 6.20 becomes 6.01 for Alana Myers-Taylor. That's a massive improvement in the start.
Yeah, huge improvement. We see Alana go for the trolley push, but I mean, she's such a powerhouse at the top of the track.
Well, after giving birth in the summer, then I'm guessing her core is part of what needs work. 95.2, best speed of all. She's got a slender lead over Andrea Greco. Greco lost a little bit of time at the bottom of the track. If Alana is clean here, and she is, she's going to pull away. 2 tenths up, not quite. 1500s, 55.48. So again, we are seeing much quicker runs now. Still a second off the all-time record. In fact, a second and 100th off the record, but Alana liking that one.
Yeah, and so she should. I mean, as we said, she's coming back from having baby number 2, but each race we're going to see Alana progressing. That's the spirit of a champion, I think.
Yeah. I said last week that clearly a year without driving a sled and only and only pushing baby buggies has not hindered her driving skills. See, there's still a tiny bit of snow in the air. Alana Myers-Taylor leads with 6 to go. 900s ahead of her was Cynthia Appiah. Now, another, like Alana, many years before, brakewoman turned driver. Sin has done exactly the same as you, same as so many athletes in the field. Because without that braking starting ability, drivers are definitely at a deficit. Quite a lot more light sleet coming down now. It's a winter sport, that's the way it works. Doesn't always hinder everybody, doesn't always favour everybody. 6 flat, that's a good start, but only 1/100th quicker than her first run and only 1/100th quicker than Alana Myers-Taylor's second start. So the gap between them remains just a 10th. And now they're level.
Yeah, Sim's going to have to drive for her life here to hold on to her position, I think.
Yeah, big step forward for Alana Myers-Taylor. She's still in the hunt as they get to the Kreisel. Decent exit. She's stopped the bleeding. And now she's started it again. How far behind at the line? Down to third. Loses a couple of spots. A 56 flat. Well, half a second quicker than her own first heat. And as a driver, you know, Mika, that half a second of an improvement on the same track within an hour, that's a proper improvement. But she walked away from that not at all happy.
I think when you're a World Cup pilot, you want the best and you want everything to be perfect. And the difficulty with bobsleigh is you're never going to get perfection, ever, because it's going to be a different run each time. But, you know, you've got to take the positives from it. If it's an improvement in your downtime, take it and run with it.
Yep. Absolutely so. Well, just as we said it was going well, that big skid and, yeah, drat. You know, she got back on top of it and then it all just drifted away. And such is the way we're sliding. Well, there's Christina Hengster with Max and Lily. Great to see her back. And next up, our silver medalist from last week. 1900s in front of current leader Alana Myers-Taylor is Switzerland's Mel Hassler. Come on, Melly, says Wooly. Let's see what she's got. Started 6:08. And if she improves like everybody else did, this should be down into the fives. 6:04, maybe the snow is starting to build in those start grooves. The roof sort of runs out before the grooves do.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned Woolley at top there. The Swiss team are under the watchful eye of Chris Woolley, and we can see that from their startability. It's improving every year. Mel's becoming not just a great driver, but a great athlete as well at the top of the track.
Level and then into the red at the Kreisel. This is going to be very close. That's a good exit from the Kreisel. Really like the way Mel Hassler drives the sled. She's very economical with steering movement, but 1200's back. She's not going to catch Alana. Alana's going to lead with 4 to go. Alana Myers-Taylor may be edging towards a medal here. 55.89, she drops 2 as well, because in the wake of our leader, Alana Myers-Taylor, who you just saw in the leader's box, is Andrea Grecu, the Romanian, lies second, Mel Hassler third. Melanie was the silver medalist last week, Andrea Grecu was the bronze medalist, but their positions, at least respective to each other, are reversed.
And we did say that run from Grecu would probably see her jump a few spots. She might not be in the leader's box, but she's definitely helped herself there.
So saw the technique from Melanie Hassler, like leapt in, dropped down, head under the cowl, so she's looking for the D-rings, gets the D-rings, and then only just pops her head up as she gets to turn 1. So
always a big smile.
All sorts of techniques. Alana Myers-Taylor leads, 4 to go. Okay, here comes the battle for the medals. Alana Myers-Taylor leads for the USA. Last week's winner, Keisha Love, in 4th place after the first heat, but there is a big time deficit to the top 3. What can this woman do? A brake woman last season with Kaylee Humphries and a multiple race winner. She's now driving her own sled and is already a race winner. 5.89, just 100 slower than her first heat. She is still the fastest starter in the competition.
Yeah, a really nice run. Like you said, there is a big gap to the medals for Keisha, but if she can put down another run like she did in that first heat, I think consistency here for Keisha is the key point.
Well, we're going to measure it against Alana. She was 4100s ahead of Alana in the first heat. That went out to 6100s. It's down to 55, down to 48. So she's living on her first heat advantage and skids that away. She's going to be behind Alana Myers-Taylor at the line, but by how much? Or is she? No, she's not. She's holding her speed across the line, 55.52. Yeah, there you go. Top 4 guaranteed. Now, in her first season, a top 4 for a brand new driver would be a big result. Never mind the fact she won last week. She's going to be just impossible to wipe the smile off her face for weeks and weeks, isn't it?
Oh, she's made a right... how could you wish for a better way to come onto the World Cup circuit? She's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, she really has. Long slide there from 9 down to 10. Takes a little tap and sort of nudges the nose away into 10, but yeah, whatever. Fantastic start to her career. And now we get to our potential medalists. The Olympic ring on the finger of Brianna Walker. The Aussie lying in 3rd place. She's got 1900s in hand over Keisha Love, our current leader. And this is for the medal that eluded her last week. After the first run of the women's monobob in La Plagne, she was looking for the medals. They did not come her way. Let's see if she can do it here. 5.96, that's a great start again. 6.08 in the first heat, so that's found her a 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, great improvement at the start there. And do you know what? If you're ever looking for a bit of training motivation, hop onto Brie Walker's Instagram page because she shares a lot of her training. I love watching it. She's strong, she's powerful, and that shows at the top of the track.
Had a silver medal here last year. She's won here in Europe Cup and in the World Series monobob races. So this track, one of her dozen wins in monobob. Big skid there. Let's see if she can build the advantage. This is not about holding back Keisha Love. This is about winning the race. Is it enough? 55.43, 4/10 of a second quicker than anybody has come down so far. Well, that guarantees her a medal. Of what colour, she will have to wait 4 minutes to find out.
It's going to be a very long 4 minutes, isn't it?
No, because she knows that she's not allowed the medal to slip away. It just was not hers last week. This little error, well, it didn't cost her a lot, but on this track it doesn't have to. All right, she's in the medals. First time this season. 2 to go. Brianna Walker leads for Australia. Lauren Alter, next up, our world champion in women's monobob. Started 6.03 in the first heat, 4th fastest start. Came down 1/100th ahead of Brianna Walker. To all intents and purposes, an absolute dead heat. Let's see who comes out on top. Starts 300s quicker, that's a good getaway.
Yeah, not the start time we saw from Brie, but we know that Laura is an excellent driver and she's going to find every bit of time she can down this track.
And she's going to need to. 300s behind at the start. That gap is out to 800s because there wasn't that early velocity in the sled. 900s at the Kreisel. Second best speed, but fastest was Alana Myers-Taylor. Here we go. Gap should shorten. 1100s back. Running out of track. Coming down to 800s. This could be down to the 100th of a second at the line, but I think Brianna Walker's got it. She has. She'll have at least a silver. 55.49. Well, that's half a second quicker than Lara Nolte came down in the first heat. But 600s slower than Brianna Walker, and she only had one to play with. Well, she's in the medals. One to go. Oh, littlest of nudges. Again, Mika, you know, every one of those you'll be so aware of when you're in the sled.
Yeah, and, you know, she probably had the thought in her head, this is a really nice run, coming out of 10, tap, straight into 11.
What you mean is, that's what you were thinking, and that's okay. Enough of pushing Mika under buses. Let's see what Lisa Buchwitz has. 1600ths of a second, the first heat advantage over Brianna Walker. That's not much. We make it sound like it's an awful lot. It's not. It's 1600ths of a second, not 16 seconds. Fastest start in the first heat, 5.90, 5.83. That's the quickest getaway in the competition. That's a big, big effort from Lisa Buchwitz. She knows the pressure's on. As she sits down, she's 2900ths up. 3700s. Great velocity from Lisa Buchwitz.
This is just growing and growing, isn't it? We know she's got success at this track before. It's clearly a track she enjoys driving. So I think this is just a winner's run, isn't it?
Fourth best speed. Third best speed. Gaps coming down. 3500s. Big skid coming down into 10. It should still be Buchwitz's gold medal. She's holding the limit. 3/10 in front. It will be gold for Lisa Buchwitz, silver for Brianna Walker, and bronze for Lara Nolte. 55.34. Well, that is quicker than Brianna Walker came down by 900ths of a second. So fastest in the first heat, fastest in the second heat. Slightly overexcited Lisa Buchwitz claims her second gold medal in women's monobob World Cup racing at the scene of her first. That is okay, yes. Congratulations to Lisa Buchwitz. So the green of Saxony on the brow band.
Wie ist am Ende der Stand?
Well, look, she got very used to winning in the back of a sled, and she's starting to get used to winning in the front of it as well. Doppelsieg in Eagles for Lisa Buchwitz. All right, 8 months apart, but back-to-back wins for her on this track. And she gets another go tomorrow. Now, that would be quite the story if her first 3 wins came on the same track, spread across a season and a little bit. Lisa Buchwitz is our winner. Brianna Walker, her second career silver medal. And in the bronze medal position, Lara Nolte. And Lara, that is her first Monobob World Cup bronze medal. She's got 2 gold and 2 silver. Keisha Love in 4th ahead of Alana Myers-Taylor and Andrea Greco. Another strong result from Greco and Hasler, who were 3rd and 2nd last weekend. That'll keep them right up the top of the World Cup rankings. Great to see Katy Bile back as well in 11th place. And a good debut, 15th. Can't argue with that, Adele Nicol. She'll be back tomorrow. So will Julia Slupecker, our other newbie. Whether Kim Kalicki races or not for the remainder of the weekend, in fact, Saturday and Sunday, only time and the physios will tell us. Well, that is it for race 2 of the Women's Monobob World Cup Series here in Innsbruck, Austria, the first of the weekend. And Lisa Buchwitz wins again on the track that gave her her first monobob gold medal at the end of last season. My thanks to Mika Moore for her words of wisdom, for joining us. She'll be back tomorrow and Sunday morning to chat through the women's races. And there is your race winner. So Mika, fastest starts and the 2 fastest runs. That's pretty impressive from Lisa Buchwitz.
Not too bad for an early Friday morning, is it?
Indeed. So Keisha Love leads the World Cup rankings from Brianna Walker and Lisa Bookvitz, Lara Nolter, 3rd and 4th, ahead of Mel Hasler. Alana Myers-Taylor up to 6th, ahead of, or tying with Angia Grecu on points, as Margot Bock and Bianca Ribbi round out the top 10 behind Cynthia Appia. So some close battles at the front of the field. Keisha Love, still our World Cup leader. Whether she'll leave here with the World Cup points lead tomorrow morning will tell us as we race again tomorrow morning, but at the slightly more human time of 10 a.m. 0900 GMT. So you can set your alarms for that. And before then, we have men and women's skeleton coming up later today. 11:30, in fact 11:34 first sled. So we'll be on air at 11:30 for the men's skeleton, and the women's will be this afternoon as well. So that's it from the first of 2 races this weekend for the women's monobob. As I said, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Mika Moore, me, Martin Haven. And that will be at the slightly more human time of 10 local, 0900 GMT. That's fully 0400 Eastern. What are you complaining about? We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Boom, boom, boom. And nice work.